What's up, everybody? I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. And with me, as always, my trusty co-host, Lavender Roman Harper. What's up, baby?
I'm doing good. Really excited about our next guest.
You're excited about every guest.
I know, but I have not got to talk to this gentleman before. He's got a great background, a great history, comes from a crazy athletic family. I'm going to give him a rundown of what happens when I ask my kids the first thing that comes to mind about the last name of his family. Go ahead.
Okay. Played fullback in the NFL for 4 different teams. He is a member of the Gronkowski family, and now he is the CEO and creator of a ice shaker brand.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chris Gronkowski to the pod.
Yeah. Gotta get my chest bumped too. There we go.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for.
All right, Chris.
Go.
Oh, you ready, man.
Yeah, I got to. So, first thing. So, I told my children I was interviewing a Gronkowski, Chris Gronkowski. And I said, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word Gronkowski? Number one, they said, athletic.
I'll take that.
You know what I mean?
I wasn't expecting that.
Me neither. I was not expecting that either. But that's what they said. They said athletic.
I like that.
Then my daughter said, big. I was like, okay.
All right.
Then,
pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, then my son said, strong.
All right.
All right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so these are the words.
He's got some good kids.
Yeah,
He does.
Ask them what they think about when they hear my name.
No, that thing they call
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Cool.
But what does it feel to have everybody their first thought process? And these are younger people. My kids are 13 to 5. And so these are the mindset when they hear Gronkowski. They connect you all to these great words that you like. Oh, I like
adjectives
that.
is
These
what they're
great
called.
these great adjectives. They're still words, but it's more descriptive
Adjectives.
is the adjective to describe you guys.
Yeah, it's good to be a role model for sure.
Yes.
A lot of times I hear different descriptions. So it's good to know that the younger kids,
They don't relate it
see
to
us
it.
in a different way
Yes.
at this point. So I think a lot of that has helped with like the Nickelodeon shows and stuff like that my brother's been on, where they see him in a light that's a little different than other people have seen him that are a little older throughout his partying days. So, yeah, man, that's awesome. And I got 4 kids myself now, so I love that is how they see us at this point.
Mm-hmm. And how does it feel to have 4 out of the 5 of you guys play professional sports? I'm sure your parents you've heard that probably many
I
times.
think my dad's told everyone that he's met. Over the last 10 years, every person he sat next to on an airplane, I think they know the whole story at this point. But pretty cool. My oldest brother still thinks he could have played tight end. He was too scared to play football. He actually never played ever. And then
No way.
played baseball. Yeah, he's about 6'6" now. He claims he's the tallest brother now. But he was smaller in high school. He was like 180 and came out on the varsity football team. My second oldest brother, Dan, threw him a pass, hit his hands. He said it hurt his hands, and he quit that day. And so his tight end dreams that day ended on a pass that hurt his hands. But he still thinks he could have played football, but I don't think so.
Okay.
What's the best thing about? So I have one older brother, and close. Used to beat the shit out of me as a kid.
Yep.
I wanted to, and not until my sophomore year, I beat my brother, and I was like, "Yo, I've arrived. I have actually made it. I can beat my older brother." What is it like having 4 brothers? Like, what's the best part about having 4 brothers?
I mean, that's what we did all day, every day too. The best part is just I think it brings the best out of you.
Yeah.
I got to play with them in high school. I got to play with them in college. And then I think because I played with my brother in college and we had a reputation for having a good time, I don't think they let me play with them in the NFL. At least Bill Belichick didn't. So, but with that, like when you were in that room and you were watching film, all you wanted to do was impress your brother, right?
Absolutely.
So you had to go and you had to light up some guy, or you had to flat back someone, whatever it was, and then you had to go in the film room and you had to be like, hey, don't take a piss in the next 5 plays. You got to see something, and then you got to show them what's up, right? So I think it just took us not only on the field but in the weight room.
Yeah.
During sprints, everything was, this is my younger brother. I got to beat him in everything. This is my older brother. I got to try to beat him in everything too. So, in the weight room, we excelled. In speed training, we excelled, and then on the field, same thing. And it's pretty cool because I got to play next to my brother a lot too. I was kind of a wing, kind of fullback position, and he was a tight end. He'd run down the middle and take 2 guys in coverage. I'd be wide open. So I averaged like 30 yards a catch my junior year when my brother was on the field. So
what kind of offense were you guys running? You said a wing, so it wasn't a wing T, was it?
No, it was. They were just using me more as kind of just at everything position.
Okay.
Wasn't a true tight end. I was too small, but in college you could kind of get away with it. So
yeah. Okay.
So what's the worst thing about having 4 brothers?
The worst thing is they can't tell us apart for the most part.
Okay.
Which is it's good and bad, but so I get called like Glenn a lot because we're the same height. That's my youngest brother, and then you kind of all just get lumped into the same thing. At this point, at the beginning, how you talked about all these great terms,
right,
that was awesome. But a lot of times, those aren't the terms I hear, and I get lumped in with those other terms, which I don't really think fit my description that well.
Right.
So,
I like it.
What term is that? You tell me a term that you like, bro. That's just not even.
Yeah, I mean,
not it.
When they say like they're not that smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll fight back on that, even for my brother as well. 20 years old, get a couple $1 million, right? This guy just didn't change, nothing changed, didn't spend the money, just responsible with everything, and like to me, that's like
smart.
That's very smart, extremely. And a lot of people see that, and they get paid and they go have a really good time and do things that you shouldn't be doing. And I think he was one of the most responsible players I've seen, especially with that kind of money.
Yeah. So how did you end up undrafted on the Cowboys roster in 2010? You were undrafted. I mean, let's be honest. I saw your stat line in college. It didn't blow me away.
Yeah. What about those yards per catch, man? All 8 of them.
And I think you had 2 carries?
Yeah, I had a couple carries. The stat line wasn't great.
Yeah.
I went into college hoping I could get a scholarship, so I didn't have to pay for college.
Right.
I was still my junior year going out on Thursday nights partying. The chance of playing in the NFL for me, I thought was pretty much a 0. So
okay.
I was going to go to school. I was going to get the best degree I could. I went into the business school. I got a degree in accounting. I was like, man, well, I can leave and be a CPA and make some good money, right?
Yes.
So after my junior year, it was really about have a great time, go on the field, just try to knock out someone every play. That was kind of the goal. And about halfway through the season, my running back coach was like, hey, there's some teams talking about you. And I'm like, they got me mixed up with my brother, right? So they're watching a lot of his film. I would appear in some of it. I had a couple good games, and that was the point where they're like, you have a chance, right? So went into my senior year, actually got hurt in the offseason and tore my hammy, came back the first day of practice, tore it again, played through it the whole year, couldn't really run. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like, all right, if I get a chance, I'll go to pro day, but I'm not getting invited to the combine. But, if I get that chance, I'm going to take it. So got that chance, and then it was kind of like, all right, my brother Rob just got drafted 2nd round. My oldest brother got drafted in the minor leagues of baseball, so he went later in the rounds. My second oldest brother got drafted to the Lions, so I'm sitting there like, man, I already know the story now. If I don't make a team,
you're the worst.
I'm going to hear about it. Like, how are you the only one in the whole family that didn't make it, right? So I kind of had this mentality like, there's no option here. Like, I have to make a team at this point, and that was kind of what happened. I was lucky enough to then get paired up with a college roommate from Maryland before I transferred to Arizona. Ended up being my roommate, and we kind of both undrafted. It was kind of like, hey, man, let's do this. Let's make this team.
That's cool. So when you came to Dallas, what was your first impression of Jerry Jones? Because he's got this really big personality, being the owner, the GM, very successful entrepreneur.
I mean, they call the stadium Jerry World. Let's just be honest. This is they don't call anybody else's stadium after.
Is he like hiding around the corner?
He is not. He is definitely not hiding around the corner.
I'm not allowed to say anything I want.
You can say whatever you want about guy.
But what was your first impression of him?
No, I mean, my whole thing with him was everyone made it seem like he was always there and always in your face, and that wasn't the case. He'd be at some practices, but he wasn't in the meeting rooms. You weren't seeing him on a daily basis or anything like that. He would be there for big events or Christmas parties and, in the locker room after games. But outside of that, it wasn't anything different than anywhere else I played at.
You know what? That's a great point. I do think the outside world views like, man, Jerry's hands is all on the team. He's down there probably drawing up plays. Everybody probably feels that way. So I appreciate you sharing that. It's like, nah, he's kind of just like every other owner. He just,
for sure.
He just sells the star better than everybody else sells their team.
He sells the team better than anybody. Not even the star. He sells the team 100%. Better than any other owner.
that was the big. That's what I thought the big difference was in Dallas was the media. I mean, anyone was allowed pretty much full access in Dallas. You went in that locker room, there was insane amount of reporters from everywhere, from sources you never heard before, and really asking questions that really had nothing to do with football either. And once I left Dallas, and I thought that was normal because it's the first team I played for, but once I left there, I realized really quickly that that's not the norm.
It's a great point.
So,
I want to know what your welcome to the NFL moment was.
Man, my first game I started, I would say, I'm lining up, my hand's shaking. I got Brian Urlacher lined up across from me, and I'm running an ISO up the middle. And I'm like, all right, here we go. I actually completed that play. He was later in his career, and I'm thinking like this huge hit, right? He's not going to go in there and throw his head in there because guys that make it 15 years don't do that anymore at that point. So really, it was Lance Briggs, Arizona guy, and I'm like, man, I know this guy's from Arizona, but man, why is he trying to kill me every play? And so it was like 2 plays later, I go against him, we both just smashing each other the whole game, and I'm like, all right, this is really the real welcome right here. And I swear he had my number, like he was just coming for me the whole game. But I ended up scoring a touchdown that game, so it was kind of like, man, like this is amazing.
What do you remember about the touchdown? Do you remember what that play was?
Yeah, it was like a Spider 5, and I actually was supposed to run at the DN and kind of give him a little juke like I was going to hit him, but I saw that the flat was wide open, so I ran out there. Absolutely let my running back get destroyed.
Marion Barber.
Oh, my God.
Barber,
Julius
yeah.
Peppers.
Yeah, it was Julius Peppers, and Marion Barber had to block him. That was a tough block for him. And,
Tough block for anybody.
I was wide open, though, and I got the catch, so it was pretty cool outside of that.
Got the catch, got a nice little spike. What did you feel as soon as you caught it? Because I looked at the replay. I was covering Jason Witten on that play. I fell down. Thank God Tony Romo didn't he didn't throw it to my guy.
Yeah, you're welcome that I just ran out there instead.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Because if I actually did my job the right way, I might not have got the ball.
But it looked like you caught him was just like.
I was super hyped, man.
You could see it in your eyes. But
yeah.
The coolest part, though, was like all your teammates, like the linemen, they're all coming over and they're just hitting you in the back, and you're just like,
yeah. I just never thought that would happen for me. And growing up, that was kind of like what you did in the backyard, right?
Yeah.
Do the spike down, and then you get in college, you're like, oh, you can't
do anything.
You can't do anything.
College is the
So
worst.
I had to wait all those years and then have some miracle moment happen that I never thought would happen. So I was just really excited for it.
Chris, don't feel bad because the first time I scored a touchdown, like you said, your whole life you have these, like, I'm going to celebrate, I'm going to dance, I'm going to do all these things, and then you finally make it, and you're like, I'm just so excited. And then for me, I scored, and then I was like, oh, shoot, I get to celebrate. Like, I had already started running back. I was like, no, get away from me, guys. Let me get my shine on, and then we can celebrate.
Was this the lead?
Yeah.
You got a touchdown?
Yeah, a couple. It's okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's okay.
You don't strike me as a scorer.
Well, I play defense, so it's a reason
I got
why
10 of them. I'm just saying, I have double digits, just throwing it out there. Anyway.
I got one.
Yeah.
I got 10.
Pretty good.
Yeah. He's got one. I got 2. It's fine.
Okay. Give me 2.
It's fine.
So 2012, you make it to Denver. You're playing with Peyton. How was it going from Tony Romo to playing with Peyton Manning?
Man, Peyton's
because that was a year after his injury too, so he actually had a good year too.
So I went from Dallas to Indy first.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of the year where it was just a mix of everybody.
Was that the 1 year when?
It was a great year. 0-13 we started.
Yeah. The 1 year when you guys they were struggle bus that year.
So we started with Curtis Painter, and then we went through a bunch of different quarterbacks at that point. But
sounds like Chicago every year.
Yeah, I was the first guy, I guess, really in the Peyton Manning era at the fullback position. So I got there. They gave me a playbook. It had 6 plays in it. And I was like, man, this is the easiest playbook I've ever seen in my life. So like literally I had nothing, and it was kind of like, hey, we don't know if Peyton's going to play yet or not. So if he doesn't play, we need some run game. So that's why I ended up there. I actually got awarded there over Philly. I could have ended up in Philly too. It would have been pretty cool. But with that, nothing. So I just played special teams. And then he goes and gets traded to Denver, and it was like a week later they traded me to Denver. So I'm like, man, I think Peyton actually likes me a little bit. So this is pretty cool. So got there. Peyton's, he's the offensive coordinator on the field is really what it was.
For sure.
The guy next level. Kind of just having a coach on the field, knows everything. If you mess up, you're done. If a receiver ran the wrong route, it was just like, all right, take that guy off the field and just don't even put him back on. So you had to know what was going on. You had to be ready for it. And really, he came out there, he installed his offense, and really quickly I realized that his offense is never going to have a fullback in it. And I just kind of went back to my role of just playing all the special teams at that point. So I did get one catch from him, got a first down.
Shout out.
Got the picture. Got it saved on my Facebook page and the whole deal. So got one from Peyton. That's all I got.
I just love that you play special teams.
I want to talk about your transition from football. That's why we do this podcast, is getting to hear about it. And from reading up on you, you said it was easier than it was possibly than what other athletes probably struggle with. Why was that the case for you?
Yeah, I think so. Number one, because I never thought I'd make it past really half a year.
Well, you were like, dude, in junior, I was junior in college, dude. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, so, from day one, it was like, hey, if I get 1 year, that's huge. And then after I got one, it was if I can get 3 and get pension benefits, like that would be insane, right?
Right.
So I ended up getting 4 credited, and it was like, man, this is unbelievable. So from there, I knew it was going to end pretty quickly. So with that, I got kind of lucky because my wife started a business my 3rd year in Denver. And so
what business was that?
She did a personalization company that she started online. Pretty much came down to the fact that I was on a new team every single season, and she's like, this just sucks, really. What it comes down to is she had to go on a job interview every year, get a new job, and she's like, I just want to find a way to work from home. So that's where it came from. I started hand painting wine glasses and thought it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I would come home, she'd have to bake them in the oven. It would take like 30 minutes. She'd sell them for like $15. It'd take her 50 minutes to make one. And I was like, this is going to make a couple dollars, but at least she's busy. This is cool. Pretty soon she started having to scale it up. She bought like a Cricut machine, started doing vinyl, and those started selling like crazy. And at the same time, I was 3 years, my contract ended. I was looking for a new contract, and I started looking into it. And I'm like, man, she's actually like, this is a really good market here. So I took some of my money, I started investing it into commercial grade laser engravers, and I started building the shop with her. And pretty soon, like it was raking at that point. So we're doing it off the dining room table of her dad's house, and you have this laser that actually, it creates smoke because it's lasering into wood and other materials, and we're blowing it out the window of his kitchen. I'm like, man, whatever. Like this works, though, man. This works. So we took over his whole house, inventory, the whole deal, and I was making good money. And at that point, I did sign with the Chargers. I signed a 1 year with them, so I went there. And the whole time, I was kind of like, man, I got this cool thing going in the background, but let's get 1 more year. Though.
Yeah.
So every year that money goes up too. So it's like, all right, 1 more year. I think it was like 640 was the minimum at that point for a 4-year player. So I'm like, man, if I get 640 more in my bank account, which is not, it would really be like, I was in California, so it would have been like 250.
Taxes.
But it was crazy. But with that, I was like, all right, 1 more. And I went into camp, got hurt, and then I got released with the injury settlement. So took that and got a 4th season.
So are you telling any of your teammates about your other side hustle that you have with your wife that's running out of your father-in-law's kitchen? I was wondering, because I would not. As a player, I'm like,
So I did that for 5 years, and I told nobody.
Okay.
I actually, within a year, I was making more doing that than I was playing in the NFL.
Really?
Doing that with my wife, and I didn't tell a person. Like people, my teammates and friends started, retiring from the NFL or, walking away, and at that point, they're like, hey, man, like, what do you do now? I'm like, I'm kind of just doing my thing over here, man. Like, kind of just whatever. I wouldn't tell them, and they're like, what do you do every day though? I'm like, man, I kind of just do this thing like with my wife that she does, but I didn't really explain it. It was mostly like wedding gifts, so it was like bridesmaid, groomsmen gifts for weddings, and we customized items. I kind of made like the male version shop. I had like pocket knives and flasks and stuff like that. She kind of had the girly side with like tumblers and like cutting boards and stuff like that, and we created 2 competing sites, and it really taught me how to just do e-commerce for the most part.
Yeah.
So really figured it out, how to build it, how to source product, how to market, how to fulfill customer service, the whole deal. And I did that for about 5 years with my wife. And then at that point, at 5 years, I was going really, a lot of people started calling, and they were all like kind of leaving the NFL at that point, and they're like, man, what do you do? And I couldn't answer that question. I realized that, this is doing really well, but this is not me. Like, I grew up, my dad owns a fitness equipment company. I played sports my whole life. I'm into fitness. Like, how do I get back into that world? And that was kind of the question on my mind at that point.
So then you come up with the ice shaker. Where did that idea, where did that concept come from?
So they kind of originated from my wife's business. So a lot of people were coming in, they were bringing different cups in, and they were saying, hey, can you customize this? And the one that exploded at that time in 2016 was the Yeti cup. So they just had the 30-ounce tumbler. I didn't want one because we were selling them for about $150 a piece every time we personalized them, and we were just flying through them.
You were selling
a single Yeti personalized, $150. So I was hustling. Like, I was going to like every academy, calling them every week saying like, hey, when's your next Yeti shipment come in? All right, just leave them all in the box. I'll come buy them at full retail. And they're like, okay. And I'd show up and they just leave them in the box. I'd take hundreds at a time or however many they would give me. Bring them back to our shop. We put them online and we sell them for $150 a piece.
e-commerce. All right,
Go
back.
Play.
Answer Peanuts question. I got distracted with
Yeah, no,
150.
I think I went off track.
I was processing as you were talking. I was like, $150.
Pretty
my
good.
daughter has
They're
one of them
$40
dumbass
each.
cups.
Yeah.
You
No,
can buy them for $40, and then we customize them and we resell them for more.
I ain't mad at it.
no.
I mean that's what people were paying. So yeah.
Okay, so explain to I saw you on Shark Tank, but
sure.
explain to the viewer and to our listeners that have not seen that what exactly Ice Shaker is, the concept behind it, and why you started it.
Yeah, for sure. So we're here in Dallas. It was like 105 degrees out during the summer. I think it was July at the time, and I was going to the gym. I'd actually use this insulated cup at work, and then I'd go home and I'd grab a plastic shaker because that's all that was out there at that time. Fill it up, BCAAs or water, whatever it was, and go to the gym. By the time I got there, I was sweating. I was making little sweat rings on the ground, and I'm like, man, there's this technology out there, but I can't shake or mix anything in it. Why don't I just create something that can? So that was the whole idea. It was the stupidest, simplest idea that no one's ever done. So I figured I'd go online and just buy one. Went home, jumped on Amazon, nothing out there. Googled it, nothing out there. And it's kind of like, all right, this is kind of my way back into fitness and sports and, kind of doing what I like to do. I'm going to jump on this. So I did. I ended up ordering 10,000 units was my initial order. We were already sourcing product, and I was already doing that with my wife's company, so I kind of already knew how to do it. Got the products, thought it was going to be the easiest sell in the world, posted on Twitter at the time because that's all that was out there, had like 30,000 followers, and I'm like, man, this is going to blow up. And I sold 2 bottles the first week. And I was like, we got a problem here. So that's how it all started, though. And then from there, it was kind of just, how do I get sales? I kind of followed the same routine that I did with my wife. We did it on Etsy. I went to Amazon, figured out how to rank at the top, how to get reviews, product photos, the whole deal. Started ranking up there, and then started doing local shows. So it was kind of like the bodybuilding shows at first, the local ones. People were there, and they're at a.
You got to go to the gym, bros.
Like,
right?
Yeah, like they're all in if they're at a small bodybuilding show. So I'm like, all right, this is the place to start. And it was just sitting there and hawking people down in an aisle and having them grab our bottle and grab a plastic one and saying, hey, there's ice in this one. And they're like, there's no way, there's no way there's ice in it. They'd open it up. There's ice in it. Keep it cold for 30 plus hours. And it was like, I need this cup. And we just started selling a ton of cups.
What I want to know is, so that was the Shark Tank experience, right?
No.
That was the very beginning.
Oh,
That was the beginning.
Okay.
You can
Sorry.
ask him about his Shark Tank experience.
Nope.
Nope, you're not going to ask him?
I'm gonna want you to ask him.
Oh, well, let's talk about it then. I want to know, because it's a TV show.
It is
For sure.
So, and you had all your brothers there with you.
Yep.
I mean, you guys came out, did the
It
whole,
helps.
the whole
We
bro
did some
love thing.
Yeah,
You
flying
guys,
chest bumps.
Yeah, a couple chest bumps.
Flip cup.
Yeah, they play flip cup
Yep.
with the
I
sharks.
seen it. I remember.
And it was good. It was a great
great show.
production. It got us excited about it. Whether we thought the product worked or not, we were excited. And
Good for TV.
did you know, like, all right, what was the game plan going into it? I saw the number. You were like 10% for 100,000.
Yep.
You ended up giving away 15% for 150,000. Fine. What was the game plan for you? Like, all right, what do I want to come out of here with? And then, like, how are we going to sell this?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, we were only 6 months in on the company at that point.
Okay.
At that point, I just got it 6 months before that. I'm hustling. I'm doing shows. I'm doing whatever I can to get my sales up as high as possible so I could go on there and ask for $1 million valuation, right? But my game plan was really, like, I want a deal. This was a side hustle for me. I was doing this when I got home after work, and the wife's business was doing more than enough to support us at that point. So I was like, man, I got nothing to lose, right? So let's go on here. Let's actually try to get a deal, and let's lock something up. So
How did you get on?
So it came from my agent actually emailed. It was 2012. I was with the Broncos. It was just an email saying, the show was looking for any current or former NFL players. For them, it was a way for them to grow their audience. So they're trying to get players. There's players that go on there all the time.
Yeah, it is.
And different celebrities as well. And all they're really trying to do is get more people to watch the show. So they're reaching out. I knew that. I knew I had an advantage. I didn't have to go to the trade show or like the whole deal that a lot of people have to go to. And I got to skip all those steps. I actually hit them back. It was almost 5 years later. It was 2017 when I hit them back. So I got the email in 2012. 5 years later, I wrote back to it, and they answered.
Like I just got this.
Yeah. And the girl's like, I don't even work there anymore, but she passed me off to the one that does. And they were like, yeah, we'll like just make a video. So I'm sitting there like, all right, I got to make a video. I got to make this good. So I did the whole video, like working out, ripping my shirt off. I'm throwing in like the clips of my one touchdown. I'm getting Rob in there. And I'm like, yo, Rob, I need you in this video for a minute, right? Like just chug out of this bottle, like scream into the camera. And so we made this video, sent it in, and you just unlist it on YouTube, and you just wait. And it's like 5 days later, I saw there's 5 views on it. They called, and they're like, "Man, that video was awesome!" Like
it's 5 views.
Yeah, they had like 5. Well, it's unlisted, so like 5 producers watched it or whatever. So then from there, like it's months actually. Like it's a ton of paperwork, and then they want to get you ready for the moment because they want it to actually be a good production.
Yeah, they want it to look good on TV.
There's enough people get on there and they freeze. And they have enough content of bad material. So they want you to actually, be prepared and know your numbers and put on a good presentation. So went back and forth with, the producers of the show so that you were ready for that moment. And then as soon as they asked if all my brothers would be on the show, I was like, all right, it's a done deal now. Like I'm going to be on the show for sure. So I got them all in. They made me fly them first class, man, and that was my biggest business expense at that time, so I was kind of pissed about it. They each were like $2,000 flights, and I had to fly them all in that night. But got there, they hit them. The show is, it's legit. Yeah. So they don't know anything besides your name when you walk out there. They had no idea. They didn't know the name of the product. They didn't know the name of the family. They had no idea my brothers were there. They got there. They hit them in the back, so the producers didn't even see my brothers there. And then like when they ran out on the stage, like that was a real reaction. Yeah. Like I think Mark might have known who they were, but I don't think anyone else even had any idea what was going on.
They did not. Of course, with the show, Mark even as you started going, Mark was like, "Hey, look to our audience for somebody that doesn't know, this is the Gronkowski," because the female. I forget her name.
So we had Lori on there, and then we had Barbara on there as well.
And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so accomplished." She had no idea. So it was just really cool how it all kind of came out on TV.
For sure. So real deal, real pitch, real money. Rob actually didn't know it was real money. He's like, so like, what'd you win? I was like, man, no, like they're like legitimately investing in the company. But yeah, it went from then, 80,000 in sales in the first 6 months to over the next 12 months, we did over 3 million in sales. So
they really helped you boost it. So you really do get
the exposure does.
The exposure, yeah.
So if you go on there, you have a good presentation, you have a product that's easy to buy for a consumer, which we did. And then you get offers from all 5. It's kind of this buying signal to everyone that's watching to, go buy this product. So the exposure is massive, 5 million people watching it. And then it's really like, it's the ultimate pitch for me. Like you're watching 8 minutes of me pitching a product to you, and you're like, "Oh, that is pretty cool. I'm gonna go buy it." So it's super valuable. We have reruns all the time, and it still, hits our site, and we get a couple thousand views to our site, and our sales spike every time still. So great experience. That wave then goes and it keeps going, and people watch on Hulu, and it lasts for about 2 months, and then after that, you're like, "Man, I got to actually figure out how to run a business now at this point." So that worked all the way. We aired October, went right through the holidays, and then really. January ends up being New Year's resolution, and then after that in February was kind of my like moment where I realized I need to know, kind of figure out what to do here.
Yeah. So when you sold it, who all did you pitch it to? Or not, excuse me, I know you pitched it to everyone. Which person gave you the best option as far as who you wanted to partner with?
So we had Alex Rodriguez as a guest on the show, and then I wanted Mark because just the sports aspect of it, and he was in Dallas as well. So goal was Mark. When they have a guest, it seems like they try to get the guest in on a deal as fast as possible because that's kind of the point of him being on the show.
Yeah. Hey, Rod jumped in.
So, and Mark, that was right away. Mark was like, I'll do it if Alex does it. And you kind of realize really quickly, like, this is the part that's made for TV. We got to get this guest in on it as well. So I didn't know anything about Alex or really anything he was doing because that was the first time he was on the show, and there wasn't really much information on there about him. So I didn't know if it'd be good or bad at that point. But to me, it was just get a deal and let's see what happens because it's not my main source of income anyways. This is kind of a the side hustle that hopefully just explodes.
So do you have a relationship or do you have any interactions with Mark Cuban?
So right away, realized that this was season 9 when I went on. Mark had a full team built out. It was Mark Cuban Companies. He assigned me an advisor immediately, and then really it's the advisor that's helping you out.
Gotcha.
That's the guy in the trenches. That's the guy that's working with all the companies all the time. Mark's not going to dig in on a $75,000 investment and put his time and effort into it. So this guy was assigned to us. I could ask anything. And super early on, like I was all over him. Like how do I advertise on Facebook? Should I do text messaging? Who's doing this well? Can you connect me with Good Morning America? Can you get me on QVC and get me in GNC? And this is all things that they were able to help with right off the bat.
Nice. Nice.
So this is what I wanted to know at the beginning that I was not going to do before. All right, here it is.
Comes.
You ready?
Here it comes.
How do you do it? How do you get the licensing for the teams?
Yeah.
Not only that, I care less about the teams. I thought it was cool because A-Rod was there, and then I heard one of your brothers or maybe you like, dude, we got NBA and MLB, and so you also have licensing with both of those because you can get the ice shaker with your favorite team.
All teams,
all teams, all leagues. But I'm more important with what me and Jay are talking about. How you get Dragon Ball Z, my guy?
Man, that's my secret one right there, man.
That's the killer.
That was legit.
The moment that was on, I'm like, oh, bro, I'm in.
Yeah. It's crazy because, the sports teams are super popular. And
yes.
They're hard to get to. The hardest one to get is the NFL.
Yes, of course.
So we were able to get the smaller ones. NCAA is super easy. You still have to figure out or fill out all the paperwork, and then you got to pay all the royalties, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
You got to track it all. You got to submit all the reports quarterly or monthly, depending on how much you're selling. But NFL is tough to get. You're paying a 6-figure royalty up front. And I'm like, man, that's tough. And then they're limiting you to a certain category. And for us, it was shaker only. And, we sell jugs, we sell tumblers, we sell cups. And they're like, we'll give you shaker only. You got to pay 6 figures up front. I'm like, man, that's tough. I don't know how it's gonna do. They're a machine, and they want to make the most money as possible. Jerry knows how to do it. Is with that, we actually went to a licensing show. I met another group that already had the license, and they were looking for a bottle. So we actually partnered up with them, and then they were able to use their license and bring our product in and license it for us in the sports world.
Great connection.
From that same show, then we met the Dragon Ball Zs. Icy's another one that we just launched. That's pretty cool. You take an iconic logo like Icy that's been around for 50 plus years and you put it on a bottle, and we sold out in 30 days. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Big League Chew's another one that we'll probably have coming here too, but kind of just take these iconic logos and you put them on a bottle. And
so you met Dragon Ball Z people?
No, it's not actually the Dragon Ball Z people. It's all through licensing companies is what you're going to actually work with. So yeah, you're not
as cool as I thought.
Yeah, like you're working with someone behind a desk.
Yeah. Well, I just didn't know. I'm like, but
just
trust me. Me and my man Jay, we were like, I'm like, Jay, they got Dragon Ball Z. He said,
no way.
Geeked.
No one else has it, man. And what we found out really quickly is like the smaller niche ones, kind of like like a Dragon Ball Z that no one's really tapped into. Those ones are the ones that crush for us.
I'm a G.I. Joe guy. Just saying,
hey, I might have to start looking that up. It's a little hard to figure out who you got to talk to and how to get it, and then you are paying royalties, and then you're paying upfront royalties too. So, but the benefit is that somebody that's a Dragon Ball Z fan that doesn't care about working out or even know who the Gronkowski brothers are or the product, they're still going to buy it.
Yes.
And now you just introduce yourself to an entire new audience that would have never seen your product otherwise.
At what point does it make sense for you guys to make the deal versus I'm passing? Because you're saying like 6-figure up front, this one was this one. Like in your mind, when you're running it,
yep.
What is the point that's like I won't cross?
It's tough. 100K is tough. I can tell you that. We try to survey it out, and then we'll also sometimes try to just put up tests to see. We have the ability to custom engrave ourselves. So what we did with Dragon Ball, because I had no idea, and everyone kept telling me, this is huge, like you need to do it. We can print on demand. So we could actually print on demand. We could test it first, and if it sells, then we can go all in on it.
Now, how do you test it? You just like print like 10, 12, maybe
and if it's a secret sauce, don't tell.
Yeah, for sure. So you can do that. Sometimes like you could even put up a listing and put 10 on it and then say it sold out and refund everyone.
Yeah, I got you.
That's a way to kind of test it without actually bringing the product in yet.
I got you.
And then you
Cool.
say, oh, man, sorry. Yo,
Okay.
he already sold out.
Yeah, no worries. I want to know. So I'm a military brat myself with my dad serving. Shout out, Pops. Thank you for your service. What's the connection between your company and veterans? What are you
Yeah,
all
for
doing?
sure. I guess really that all started at college. We went to Fort Huachuca at Arizona. And then the NFL does a great job with connecting you as well with the military. So from there, I think that connection was kind of there. Rob would visit a ton of bases as well. He'd do pro camps at bases. And then he worked with USO too, and then he works with USAA. So there's kind of just this whole NFL military connection. And then from that, the company and the product itself just related to military members. You know, they're working out. They're always active. They need water. So from day one, we kept getting people reaching out and just saying, hey, can you guys send care packages? And I always said yes. Came to the point then, like once you send a couple care packages out and people find out, then like it floods, right? Like everyone starts asking for them. So I kept saying yes. And at that point, I realized like, man, I'm getting crushed on this. Like, how do I continue to do this but fund it? So we then created a program where we created bottles that were military themed. And then everyone that was purchased, we donated one to active military at that point. We had a partner, Operation Supply Drop. They would send them all out for us because the most expensive part by far was the shipping. Because you're shipping to, around the world, and you're shipping with really just the post office, the only one that will send it there. And it takes forever. It's really expensive. And so they came in and they funded that. They had like the aircraft routes, or they had a way to get it to them without going through the post office, which was great. So that also helped us just vet the people it was going to. Because we found out really quickly, too, that people would ask for it, and then they'd get it, and they just resell it. They'd be like, hey, man, I got 100 guys in my squad. Can you send 100 bottles out? They get it, and they won't give it to anyone. They just keep it or sell it or whatever. So we did a lot of that, and then it got to the point where we were donating thousands of bottles to that program. We lost that partner, so then instead we transitioned now to a program on our website where you can pick from different military foundations that you could donate 1% of your sale from that we actually give the money back for. So that's where we're at this point. But always trying to support as much as we can.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different foundations that we make products for, and then we donate the money back to them on those products as well.
Like that.
That's sweet. All right, so what's next for you guys? What's next for Ice Shaker?
Man, we got some new products
what's
coming.
on there? Yeah, what's
sure.
next?
Still more licensing's coming. We have all the Marvel stuff now, which is pretty cool.
I saw that.
So we have a lot of characters there that we haven't even touched yet. Even Dragon Ball, we haven't touched all of them.
No, you have not.
We have a lot left there.
I did like Trunks, though. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and we can make those full colored as well. Cell's been a good seller for us as well. But with that, a lot of licensing left, and then just new products. We're always trying to create new stuff. I think there's a huge niche in youth sports. I got 3 boys now. I play and coach way too much baseball and flag football at this point. So realize that that market, people want swag. Like they want their kids to have everything, right?
Yeah.
So we customize bottles, names, numbers, logos, the whole deal. We turn it in 3 to 5 business days. So that's a huge market for us as well. You have a half-gallon jug. It's 100 degrees out today. Kids have to have water on the field. And then, the moms are just going to pimp them out as much as possible,
Absolutely.
man. So realize really quickly, find the team mom, put up an ad or let her know about the product, and that's 12 jugs sold almost immediately.
It's crazy how much money parents spend on kids.
Yeah, the baseball bat now, they just released the new ones for $500.
I was going to say 3, but yeah,
500.
God,
The latest bat that came out this week that I saw 3 people with yesterday, $500.
And how old are these kids?
Less, 10 or younger.
Yeah. And my wife had the great idea. She wanted to do with the torpedo bat.
Oh yeah.
She's like, I'm like, this dude ain't even hitting it in the outfield all the time. Like, why are we trying to get a torpedo bat?
You gonna get a wood bat?
No,
Do they got the metal torpedoes already?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think
but
so.
I
either.
think she's just making it up in her head. She just saw it. But the torpedo bat's a new phenomenon. Well, it's been around forever, but it's just
that's
now.
the first time I've seen it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's gonna be metal ones soon.
Yeah,
so
it'll be interesting.
$600 for that.
Probably, right?
600. I'll buy last year's model though.
Well, Chris, man, you got a great family, and this would be interesting to hear this answer. But Mount Rushmore of influence, the people that have poured into you to help you achieve and get to this person that we see right here in front of us today. You got 4. Who would those 4 people be?
Yeah, for sure. Mom and dad for sure.
Okay.
100%.
You want to make that 1?
I would say 2.
Okay.
Just completely different sides of it. You have dad who was, sports and really the fitness.
Was he big
aspect.
sports guy? Just like
he never pushed it on us, but if we did it, we had to do it.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like, how do we take you to the next level? That's where his whole fitness equipment company came from. Right. It was, I want to buy equipment for all 5 boys that's going to be, good equipment that's going to last. And he actually started an entire business because he couldn't find equipment for us. So with that, like he was working, he was the supporter, and then my mom was the one, all day, every day, taking care of us. And that's like 5 boys, feeding us every meal, like not a lot of money, so kind of just scrapping.
They just eat you out of home, dude.
And just sewing
boys,
sweatpants back together and socks. Like,
how much did y'all break?
So our house pretty much had nothing in it. So we had a couch, and she had a rocking chair for the baby. And then, like, if you walked in, people were like, "Do you guys live here?" Because there was nothing on the walls, like no pictures, nothing like that. There was
really
nothing hung, no decorations. Like it was a couch and a rocking chair, and then like those old TVs, like the big box TV. That's all we had. So outside of that, like there was no decorations. Everything was just a weapon if it was there, or it was broken. So that was kind of it. Our house couldn't sell. Like she tried to sell our house after we were done with it, and everyone was like, "Man, this thing's destroyed." Everything had to be replaced.
I'm not
surprised. It was wild.
5
No.
boys.
That would definitely happen with 5 boys, and they're not small boys.
No,
either.
and like we were the neighborhood too. Like we were the house everyone came over to. So it wasn't just us 5. It was like us 5, and then
everybody had a friend or two,
2 or 3 friends. So there was like 10 people there every time he came over.
So mom and dad, you got 2 more.
Yeah, mom and dad for sure. That's tough, man. I mean, definitely had some good coaches along the way, but outside of that, I would put the brothers in there more than anyone else because it was always
which brothers?
Say I was with Rob throughout college, so really probably the closest. We're closest in age, and then I was with my older brother Dan as well. So first 2 years at Maryland was with my brother Dan, the more responsible one. That's kind of where I got the responsibility from. And and then the partying aspect was then the second 2 years of college with my brother Rob. So having a good time there and really just working hard, and pushing each other to the next level. I think that's kind of where that came from.
Trust me, I love my Thursday nights in college too.
They were good, man. Those were good times. Fridays were tough. Saturday, I just didn't care, man. That was just throw your head down and try to put it under someone's chin. So it worked out.
Absolutely. Chris, appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me.
This was
thanks
awesome.
for coming all the way in town to see me.
Oh man, no doubt, bro.
Just for you.
Yeah, man, just for you, dog. This was awesome. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna probably have to go ahead and invest in a couple ice.
If you need a Dragon Ball, man, let me know.
I'm totally gonna get a couple Dragon Balls.
I'm
just telling you right now.
I'm definitely
That's
getting
how I
Dragon
roll.
Ball for my youngest right now. She's a big Dragon Ball anime kind of person. So
it's still going. Like it's still like the younger generation is still going with Dragon Ball.
And it came out when I was in high school.
That's what
it
I'm saying.
hit in America. It had already been out in Japan for years. It hit in America when I was in high school in the early 2000s. And you still have the young people, like you said, right
this
now.
This is the 90s.
So-
I was watching it like 98, 99.
So where do you watch it? So to answer the question about who licensed it, it's actually Crunchyroll. Is that also where they watch it? They watch it through Crunchyroll?
So my brother did that, but it's an app called it's slipping my mind right now. It's dude, it's in my mind.
So you have to actually have an app to watch.
You have to have an app to watch it. You can actually go back and watch all the episodes.
So they're not like playing it still on.
No,
regular
I was a
TV?
Cartoon Network guy when it.
that's
That's
what it
how
used
I
to come
originally watched it back in the day.
Yeah, I think me too. One of those.
Yeah.
and now then they release movies every now and then. Like they just had a movie or two like a couple years ago.
Yeah, those are big.
Yeah. So, but back to you. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. You're going to be successful in everything you do. We can just tell. I mean, you're naturally an entrepreneur, a go-getter. I mean, you were hustling and didn't tell nobody for years with your wife's thing.
Slinging bridesmaid gifts, man. don't post that.
Slinging bridesmaids gifts.
Hey, bro, you didn't tell nobody, just
No one.
secretly.
So what you been doing?
That's it.
That's how you know somebody on. It's like
Getting it done, man. That's
yeah,
it.
it's just
That was it.
and you're shaking your head like I'm just kind of just
staying busy.
I
staying busy.
couldn't tell them the secret either, man. They might try to come after,
That's smart. I like it. I love it.
All right,
We
man.
appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Yeah,
Like
man.
Rome said, man, you strike me as a guy. Whatever you do, you will be successful. So I wish nothing but the best for you. Wish nothing but the best for you, and I look forward to seeing what your next adventure is.
Appreciate it, guys.
Oh, man, no doubt, man. For all of our viewers and listeners out there, appreciate it as always, man. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating, leave a review, leave a couple comments. Tell Peanut what he could be doing better, because he definitely could take that advice. And check us out wherever you pick up your podcast, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and the NFL Pages YouTube channel. That's no longer new.
Watch the NFL YouTube channel. And when you do leave a comment, please let us know what I'm doing wrong. And also make a comment or two about what Roman can do better with his T-shirts or collar shirts, because they are absolutely atrocious. Hey, that's Chris. I'm Peanut. That's Roman. And this is the NFL Players Second Acts Podcast. We out.
Peace.